So we have Paige and Kara here working together. So if you're doing your at-home practice, we'll show you how to do that. But if you're in the studio and you've asked your teacher for a bit of help to say, I think I might not be doing my tondus quite correctly, or at least let's check, we would be doing this. So part of it is about learning to go truly forward. So first of all, Paige, just go ahead and do a tondu. Okay, and you can keep it on the ground. There you go, just a nice little tondu, right? So if Miss Kara wants to help you do a tondu where you know you're really dividing through the foot, she's going to put her one hand to help the heel, and then the other hand, the edge of the toes are being bent. Yeah, let's switch feet for this part of the demonstration. There you go. So the edge of her right hand is at the base of the toes, helping that to bend, and her other hand is pulling the heel forward. So we've got a little encouragement to move forwards with that hand on the heel, and then the slicing hand helping to bend the toes. Now, here's a very important moment. Now, what a lot of dancers do, and this is what you'd be assessing for yourself, is, are you then doing, and we're going to do it the version where you go out, are you then moving your heel out and your toes kept in the same place, and you pointed your foot that way? So you moved your heel out to match your toes. So you just went from the crease, and then you just stretch that crease out. If you're doing that, you're actually moving in your hip and your thigh instead of actually activating the underneath of the foot to finish the toes. So what we're going to do instead, we'll show with both angles. Kara's going to say, hey, you may not push into my hand that's at the top of your foot, but instead, the hand that's on the heel is going to guide it further forward. And she has to sweep her toes in, yes. So let's do that again. So let it bend. So now she's going to sweep forward. So really what she's doing now, Paige is going forward, forward, and more forward. So now let's not use the right hand, Kara, just use the hand on her heel. And go ahead and close Paige, and we're going to do a nice tondu where it's just literally forwards, forwards, and more forwards. Right. Instead of, let's do it incorrectly, where you're going to go forward, forward, and then out. Yes, that happens all the time. And that is a great way to get tense thighs and sore hips. We don't want to do that. Okay, so now from the other side, she's showing the heel coming forward and then the toes sweeping. You can actually see that the toes swept in. Okay, there you go. And let's do that one again. So the heel forwards and then the toes sweep. Now let's do it incorrectly where the toes are bent and then she moves out to her toes. Right, let's do that a couple more times. Show the bend and then moves out to the toes. Right. Now for a more close-up view. Here we go. The heel's coming forwards and the toes are bending. So let's just move the hands for a sec to show she's in a nice demi-point position there. Now, if she sweeps her toes, that means she's going to keep going forward in the heel. Right. Now go back to the demi-point versus moving outwards. Right. Now you can keep it on the floor, so you don't need to pop it off. Feel like you're just finishing your tondu off, but unfortunately you didn't do it with your toes, you did it with your thigh. So here she's going to do it incorrectly, where the heel pushes out. Now, maybe you're not even pushing that much. Okay, so go back to demi-point. You're just going to keep your toes in the same spot. No, keep your toes in the exact same spot, which is what most people do. They just anchor their toes. So do that again. They find their demi-point, they're trying to go through their feet, and then they anchor their toes. And either you're jamming up the thigh, yeah, and you're jamming your heel forward into your front of your ankle. And you're trying to stretch your ankle by shoving your heel around. Not a good plan, especially on point. So that is what a lot of people do. Okay, what we're going to do instead now, go ahead and close, is she's going to go forward, forward, and then more forward. Okay, so it stays on the same spatial pull. Let's do it one more time. Forward, forward, and more forward. And the toes sweep into line and get added to the line of the foot. She's going through her feet and pointing her toes, so maybe nobody says it's a bad thing. Maybe you'd correct leveling her hips later, but unfortunately where we're at now is she jumped up in her thigh, and so if she was to try to lift her leg more, she's actually quite flexible, she can do it, but she's going to feel a whole different experience later where she's not feeling the jamming in the hip.